record on it.
Whoa.
Wow, that was loud. All right. Okay, let's see if I can get the Facebook to work now. Go live. Oh, hey. All right, I'm looking at Facebook and it looks like we are there, which is fabulous. God, that was easy. I was expecting some sort of tech hell, because we've all lived through those over the last year and a half. All right, so let's just jump right in. Hello, everyone. My name is Travis Heerman, and I'm the writer, director, and producer of the short film Demon for Hire, which we're all getting ready to work on. And I am really excited to introduce some of our cast and crew to you guys. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, audience. Welcome, cast and crew. First, I think we'll have each of you introduce yourselves, and we will go from there. And we'll start with Mike and Sophia.
Hello, I'm Sophia Castilla. I'm your camera human, part camera. This is Blanche.
She's part dog, part human.
Yeah.
I'm Michael J. Epstein. I am, I guess you're a sound person. I'm part human and part sound.
Part microphone.
Part microphone. I suppose, yeah.
All right, cool. Dylan.
My name is Dylan LeRae. I am a professional actor currently located in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I play the role of Jonathan, creepy stalker weirdo, who gets bullied by the demon, thankfully.
Awesome. Phyllis.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Ramey, and I too am a professional actor, and I am going to be playing Grandma, but Grandma has some secrets.
And last but not least, we have Sully down there.
Yes, hello. I am Sully. I am the demon for hire, as the title suggests.
Awesome. So Sully, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I am not actually for hire. Well, I am. I'm a jack of all trades. I do puppetry, improv, acting, and whatever odd jobs people will pay me any money for, if you know what I mean.
All right. Awesome. And a little bit about myself. I'm an author primarily, but I'm also super excited to be getting into jumping both feet into filmmaking. I'm primarily known for my Ronin trilogy and various other novels and some 3 or 4 dozen short stories. But I've also got some screenplays, and we're going to make a movie, and I am excited about it. I guess part of what we want is to, we all want to get to know each other. We want you guys to get to know us, the audience to get to know us. So if you have questions or comments, jump into them in the chat, and we will jump on and answer them. Oh, I may have missed a button. Hang on a second. Okay, hang on. Oh, no.
So
Okay.
Can I just say, Dylan, you're adorable.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sully, you too are adorable.
Oh, thanks. I was starting to feel left out. You too, Phyllis.
And I love our crew. So hello.
We're adorable too. It's not,
You are adorable too. Especially that little guy on your lap.
you know, Blanche is the most adorable. There's no contest there.
Blanche, you guys probably don't know this, but Blanche seems to have her own Facebook channel, right? Facebook page. So I've caught a couple of videos over the last week or two, which are as adorable as they are hilarious.
Oh yeah, she's on TikTok. She's on Insta. Popular lady.
I think so.
There's
Hang
a
on a
lot
sec.
of
Hang on a second.
So, Sully, what kind of projects do you have going on these days?
Oh, you know what? Quarantine is ending, so I'm getting into some trouble and my old tricks. But yeah, it's all starting up in June, so I've got 10 more days before the storm ends.
I hear that.
Sorry, my tech expert came in with some questions. So we're all good. All right. So let's first of all, I guess let's I mean, we've all introduced ourselves. I have some questions for you guys. So starting with Dylan, what has been your like favorite role to play thus far? What's been like the most fun, the most challenging, whatever is the one that's jumps out for you?
Oh, most definitely. My debut feature film, I got to play the lead role in a body horror film called Fang, and I got to check a bunch of things off my bucket list. I got to eat intestines, I got to kill my mom, I got to wear all kinds of cool special effects, and just, it was awesome. It was like 25 days of being on set, just a dream come true. It's the only time in my life I've been able to be an actor full time with no side job, and it was the best. It was such a great film. And I can't wait to see it. I haven't seen the final product yet, but I've never had so much fun working as an actor in my life.
That's awesome. When do you expect that the film will be finished?
So the film is called Fang. It's nearly finished. I hear it's supposed to be done within a month or so, and then it's going to be hitting the film festival circuit this autumn.
Cool. And film festival circuit is where we're going to end up someday. So everybody take note. Let's see. Okay. So who's your character in that? So you were the bad guy, or you were sort of a victim, or?
Yes, all of them. The character is, I was the protagonist, I was the lead character of the film, and he is a victim of abuse through his mother and also through his employer. They're both like just these really horrible people that just crap all over him all the time. And he's really introverted and shy and quiet and just allows himself to play a victim role. But he slowly goes a little bit crazy and he starts to believe that he is turning into a rat after getting bit by one in his apartment in Southside Chicago.
Oh, he starts turning into a rat.
Yeah, he thinks he does. Whether or not he actually does is up to the audience to decide. Rather ambiguous. But he slowly transforms from more of a victim to more of an antagonist. And throughout the film, he's not only his own antagonist, but also that of those around him.
That's cool. Phyllis, what about you?
Well, all I can say is that all my roles are like my children, and I love them all equally. But I will say my most recent role, which I did this past weekend, was a lot of fun because it was the first time that I've worked with a stunt coordinator, and I was a murder victim. And it was just like, the nice thing about having a stunt coordinator there is like, he's all about taking care of you. He's going to make sure you are safe. And so, you know, he's showing me how to fall and all these different things. And it was just really, really fun because I had never done any action kind of thing or anything like that before. So, so that was a new experience. It's very cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So this will be Sully's debut role. But let's talk to the man with the invisible arm, Thompson, there off screen. So tell us a little bit about your favorite role, Thompson.
Oh, this guy down here, he does a variety of things. His favorite role is the role that he's working on in present. So right now, it's this guy right here, Sully. Yeah.
All right,
I like following any opportunity to be weird, different, and looking like this. It helps.
Yeah, it's a nice hairdo. That's a perfect hairdo that you've got there.
It takes longer than you'd think.
And so, Mike and Sophia, you guys are not actors, at least as far as I know of, but you are fantastic filmmakers. And I've seen some of your films. You know, so as an aside, before, so I was the Film Quest film festival is going on right now. Started last week and it goes through next weekend. And I was watching through one of the short blocks, and there was this little one, this diabolical little short film called Tea Time that I watched and was like, oh man, that's pretty sick and wrong. And then got to the credits and was like, oh, director of photography, Sophia. And then I saw Mike's name as well, but I don't remember what you did on that one. Sorry.
A lot of
Oh
things
yeah,
going on,
I think I was a gaffer and a cam op on that one.
Oh yeah, there were a couple.
Yeah, I like to call that one a kinder horror. Like, you know, don't ever trust little blonde girls. I was one. We're evil. And she's very evil in that little short, but it's really cute. And it definitely had its host of challenges, but it came out really well. Yeah.
I can imagine like getting a 3-year-old, like getting a toddler. Like she was what, 3?
Yeah, well,
she was way too young to remember lines, but she did it like really well. Like her mom, you know, was coaching her and helping her with her lines. But yeah, that was a challenge. We were almost shut down by the neighbors. You know,
Really?
the sun in her eyes, dealing with her, trying to like give her as many treats as possible to get her to stay in the seat.
And then-
so definitely.
and then professional wrestling champion Rob Van Dam
Yeah.
kept wanting to body slam her. So I guess I spoiled it. He's like the surprise at the end,
Yeah.
but no, he was actually very nice. Like, he was the easiest part of the whole,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, his
So just as a brief explanation, the Tea Time is about a 3-year-old girl who's having a tea party with her stuffed animals. But at least visually, the animals keep jumping back and forth to human, and she's kind of like a little monster. And
tortures.
She's
Yeah.
very sadistic.
Yeah.
yeah, she's a sadistic little thing, and she tortures her tea party attendees.
Yes.
So, all right. So those are some of the favorites. Mike and Sophia, what has been your sort of favorite project, the favorite thing you've been involved with at this point?
Oh boy,
That's a hard one.
that is a hard one. I mean, we've worked on so much stuff. It's impossible to. I'm trying to think of like a recent fun thing that we did. I'm going to change the question and tell you about a recent fun thing we did, which I can't even think of.
What?
We're in the middle of a project called the Once and Future Smash that's pretty fun. It's a mockumentary about 2 guys who played the same slasher character in a 1970 horror film called End Zone 2, and now they're doing the convention circuit, and they have a little bit of a rivalry. And as we find out that the End Zone 2 is going to be remade, they both think they're going to get the part,
Even though they're 80.
but that's not in the cards for them so much. But yeah, so we're working on that. That's
Coming along.
what
It was
would be
kinda
done without
Shut down
pandemic.
by COVID. Yeah, like we shot half of it in February of last year, and then we've just been waiting. So probably the summer, fall.
Oh, cool. Let's see if we've got some comments and such yet. Hang on a second here. As I click back and forth between our Zoom feed and my Facebook window. And let's see. Oh, we have a comment from Sam Kolesnik. She says, I hear this film will be
Oh,
awesome.
we lost Travis.
Travis.
Hi, Sam.
Hello.
What? You can't hear me now? Hello?
No, you're fine now.
Now
Okay.
you're back. You froze for a second.
Okay. Weird. Anyway, I was saying, we got some other comments too. So we've got one from Sam Kolesnik. That's Sam Kolesnik, who's also a filmmaker, and I'm sure Mike and Sophia also know her. I hear this film will be awesome. Well, I certainly hope so. And then
The Whisper campaign.
the Whisper campaign, right? And then we've got Ann Myers telling me that the event page video never went live on my crap. See, this is where my tech foo has failed. but I know
Is it just live as you?
it's
I
live
tried to
on my
post the
page.
link in there, but it wouldn't let me. And I didn't want to interrupt you. But for everybody, everything is normal for everybody watching. This is supposed to happen. Travis, in the meantime, just post the link on the event.
Okay.
Nobody at home heard that.
All right, hang on.
That's why Sully is dancing right now.
So I will share.
Just buying some
Yep.
time.
I'm going to ask my husband if he was able to get on.
Okay. Let's see. Hang on. There are too many links and connections. I cannot keep them all straight. Let's see here. I need like color bars and stuff to come up on the screen going, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Hang on a second.
No.
How much does it cost to hire you to solve cases, Sully?
Well, I try to keep competitive in my offers, but I'll do anything from finding out who cut out your catalytic converter to where you lost your cell phone.
Wow.
And other interdimensional, otherworldly things.
It's strangely coincidental that you say that because I had someone cut out my catalytic converter about 2 months ago.
Pretty regular in California too.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere.
Ouch.
So it takes like a toad and a feather and like a fancy rock to hire you. Just
Here
guessing.
we go.
That'll work. I respond to lots of things.
Especially code.
I love codes. I love knocks. You said something about a feather?
Yeah, why not?
I'm kind of like a raven. I collect trinkets.
Or a serial killer.
Sam has a question for you, Travis.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Sam wants to know what made you've written a lot of screenplays.
Okay.
What made you choose this one for your first production?
Good question.
It is a good question.
That is an excellent question. It's I needed some. Well, basically, all the screenplays that I have written up to this point have been epic, sort of cast of thousands, huge budget stuff, and I needed something that could be shot cheaply. And I started brainstorming what to write back in February, I love horror, so it was always going to be a horror movie. And I love one of my favorite kinds of horror is horror comedy, and I really love that. That's kind of a sweet spot for me. So like some of my favorite books are the John Dies at the End series, including the movie, which I thought was awesome. So that's sort of somewhere in that connection between like cringing and laughing is like an emotional sweet spot that I think is really great. So that's what I was going for this. I basically tried to write a script that could be shot with minimum actors, and that would be fun. I've already discovered that there are things that I could have done differently, but I'm really happy with where we're at right now. Like you go to some film festivals, and occasionally you see short films that people have sent that were like even cheaper, like were probably shot for free with volunteers, and that's fine. Those are awesome. I love that sort of creativity, but that's not what I wanted. I believe very strongly that creative people should be paid. So everybody on this project is getting paid but me. So my reward is the movie itself. So that's the plan. So that's why we're doing a crowdfunding campaign right now. So here's my first plug for our Seed and Spark campaign. All of you watching, if you haven't already, go over to Seed and Spark, look for Demon for Hire, seedandspark.com. It's like Kickstarter for filmmakers, and give us a follow. Even if you don't have the money to spare right now, times are tough. I get that. But you can really help out just by following us and seeing what we're doing. So that's why we're here tonight, is to talk about that, right? To talk about what we're up to. And so anyway, do you think that sufficiently answers Sam's question?
I think so.
Okay.
I saw a meme this week that was like, oh, an eighth of a page can't be a tough day. And it was the scene from Cleopatra where she enters with like 10,000 extra. Just made me laugh when you said that was how epic your other scripts were. Take a little more effort.
There's a question from Ann Myers. Travis, I have the questions up. Do you want me to just?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can do that. It'll save us time for me to not have to keep.
Yeah, you relax, you enjoy. I'll moderate for the questions.
Right.
I've got them right here.
Fabulous, thank you.
What is the next pre-production milestone beyond funding? So once
funding,
because this Student Spark campaign that everybody should check out, that's definitely linked on Travis's page or all of our pages, the movie will be funded. So then what happens, Travis?
Then what happens? Well, I think I've got the locations mostly nailed down. There's one that is still eluding me. There's an alley, a brief alley scene that I'm still looking around to find a good spot. I've got some candidates, but I need to get that nailed down. And then I think once we have funding, then it's just a matter of putting the shooting schedule together, finalizing the script, because I'm still slightly massaging the script based on our final locations, because some of our locations are pretty darn cool. Sully's office in particular, and I want to make sure that we sort of use everything that we can. And then after that, I will be probably getting with Troy Williams, our production designer, to make sure that we have the set design and props and stuff sort of in process and in place. Then I think, now feel free to correct me, but then I think after that will be some rehearsal with the actors. We'll get together a week or two before shooting starts and see what, and all sort of, because this will be the first time we will have met in person. I haven't met any of the actors in person, unfortunately, except for Thompson, and that was just the other day. So I think it's important for us to sort of get together and see how we gel creatively and get to know each other a little bit before we start the hard work of shooting. So, and then after that, it will be, balls to the wall.
Now you're working on some cool props when we last talked.
Oh yeah. Here, let me grab one. There are some hiding behind the screen.
Show and tell is my favorite.
All right, see here. This is the initial version of Sully's sacrificial knife that is going to come in handy during the story. And I've got some serious modifications I'm going to make to this. Basically, I don't know if you can see this, but let's get close. Note that the blade has all these little faces in it. And what I'm going to try to do is make the eyes in those faces glow. So
through dark magic, right?
Say what?
Black magic.
Yeah, I'm totally going to use black magic. Yeah. So that's a fairly major project I'm actually going to tackle probably this weekend to try and get that to work. And I've also got Sully's car. Sully's car is going to have, it will need some modifications, but I'm I went looking for it. I found one. And let me pull it up for you. Let's see.
Sully, do you have a license?
It's a small enough car. I don't think I need one.
Oh.
I don't think that's how
Just
that
don't rat
works.
me out.
Yeah, we'll see what the DMV has to say about that.
This isn't going out anywhere, is it?
Yeah. I mean,
That happened to us once where we had a script of driving and then we found out the actor didn't have a license and we had to rewrite it.
true story.
So you had to what did you do?
We were
You had to
we
rewrite the
rewrote it so
script?
the character was like really freaked out about driving, which actually fit the character quite well. This is in our movie Clickbait. And she instead, basically they're having an argument. They were gonna have an argument in the car while she was driving. Instead, they have an argument in the car about how she's freaked out and doesn't want to drive. So
It worked out.
it worked out great. It was perfect for the movie.
A week before their shoot, we're like, oh, okay.
And we faked her driving in another scene by shaking the car, flashing lights, doing the usual business. There's actually a behind the scenes video on B&H. If you search for B&H, sorry, I don't mean to plug our stuff. I'm just
No,
trying
no,
to
it's fine.
tell amusing stories. Sorry to take away from the demon driving, but if you search for B&H clickbait, what's it called? Show us your shot. It'll show you how we all looked very silly, waving lights in the air and bouncing a car up and down and so on. So
No, that's awesome. You're not taken away at all. I mean, we're talking about filmmaking, and that's why we're here, because we are excited about it and love doing it, and it's all relevant. You know what I mean? Oh, I have a photo of Sully's car here. I'm going to share. Let's see here.
Sully's looking close. He's like leaning in.
I'm so excited.
All right, can you guys all see that?
Those are some sweet wheels, Sully.
That is a
Oh.
miniature McLaren.
The midlife crisis car.
Yeah.
It's got the 5-point harness.
Yep.
Sully, are you midlife? What? How long?
How old are you?
That's the thing about life. You never know until it's over.
Yeah, that's right. I sort of imagined, Sully, that you were like 9,000 years old or something.
Oh, a demon never tells.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you.
That's all right. You were so far off. It's okay.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think you're a day over 499.
So he's a baby demon, just like a.
That's why he's so small.
Got it.
I'm 3 feet with shoes on.
He's got small man syndrome.
Travis, we have a couple more comments.
Okay, sure.
The first one I'm gonna spend extra time on because it's a compliment to us. But no, Sam said that you've assembled a great team. That the two of us produced a film called Half Cocked that she loved. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. Also horror comedy, so we're well versed in the horror comedy realm. No demons in that one.
No, I guess not.
And then Jeff asks, "What is the knife made out of?"
It's pretty flexible. It's some sort of like rubber plastic like thing, but I don't know. It'll work for what we're doing. By the time I'm done, this thing's gonna glow and squirt blood. So,
You got it. Lots of eyes of a newt to sacrifice. And
yep. I have to give a little bit of a shout out to Sam Kolesnik, because it's partially her fault that we're here. Because back at Genre Blast in 2019, she came up to me and the conversation went something like, well, she introduced herself and we chatted for a bit, and she says, you're a really good writer. You just need to go make a movie. I'm of course paraphrasing our conversation to some degree, but the gist of it was that, yeah, just go make a movie, because that's what everybody here is doing. And the Genre Blast was a film festival over a weekend in Virginia, and that was a really fun one. It was basically you spend the whole weekend in an Alamo Draft House eating terrible, awesome, terrible for you junk food and popcorn, and watching, I don't know how many movies were, including the shorts, like 60 films or something like that. It's a ton. But anyway, so I was really encouraged by that conversation. The that just to just do it, and that basically percolated for a year and a half or so. Um, whilst being isolated during COVID. So I don't know. What was you guys' experience with uh, the pandemic and stuff like that? I mean, like the actors and stuff have, I'm sure stories to tell, and for crew and filmmakers, like I presume everything kind of ground to a halt. But I don't know. What was your experiences like? Let's start with Phyllis.
Well, the thing about, okay, so I actually got laid off in 2019. And I decided at that point that I was going to go full-time acting. And then the pandemic came. So, it wasn't the best timing. But having said that, I did, now that things are opening up, I've been like super busy this month. Like auditioning and doing I've already done a couple of short films this month. So I feel like everything kind of turned around. Like my whole view of this acting adventure has done a 180, and I'm so ready for this whole thing to just open up. And I'm really positive and hopeful about the future now.
Oh, that's cool. Dylan, what about you?
Oh man, COVID was a journey. When the pandemic started, my wife and I were coming to the end of our first year in Chicago. We were living in Chicago at the time. We had only been there for a year because we just graduated from college in Tucson, Arizona. And so we moved out to Chicago, and I got a lot of work there. I did background work. Like I was a featured protester in Trial of the Chicago 7, Aaron Sorkin's movie that just went through the Oscar campaign. And that was pretty cool. And then I got my first feature film, which I've already discussed, Fang, and that wrapped February 2020, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
My wife lost her job. I was told that my day job was on the chopping block. Everyone at my level got fired at my job. I was the last one remaining, and they were like, we can't promise you another day. So my wife and I didn't want to start another lease in Chicago, so we moved in with her parents in Los Angeles to take shelter. And I got a few short film projects while I was there. And then that situation didn't work out. So we moved to Colorado because we could find some cheap rent that we could actually afford there. Because somehow I managed to keep my day job, thankfully, even though they said I probably didn't have much time left. And now I'm currently in Flagstaff doing the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. Now that everyone's getting vaccinated, they're doing an outdoor Shakespeare Festival. So I get to do that this summer. So I'll actually be working very consistently for the next 8 weeks before we start filming.
So what roles are you playing in the Shakespeare Festival?
So in Hamlet, I will be playing Rosencrantz. That's my big role. And then a couple of supporting parts like Bernardo Rinaldo and like an ambassador at some point. And then we're also doing a Midsummer Night's Dream in repertory. And Midsummer Night's Dream, I play Demetrius, who's one of the lovers. He's the one that you kind of despise for being the heartless kind of. He's a jerk. He's he's a jerk. But yeah, so once that wraps up, I'll be heading to New York City with my wife because she got into NYU. So we'll be going to New York after this. So we hit all 3 major cities in 1 year, and not even because we wanted to. Most of it was just not by choice. It just kept happening to us. So it was a hurricane.
Awesome. Sully, what about you? How have you spent the pandemic?
Oh, well, I want to congratulate you because you've been more accomplished than I have. I had big plans 15 months ago, and I've thought a lot about them. That pretty much sums that up. I've hopefully better and more talented and more motivated once things are possible to do things possibly.
I don't know, Mike and Sophia, how did you guys, how much work did you do? I mean, how did you sort of get through it all creatively? And
it seems like in thinking about it, we did a lot, but I think like day to day it was kind of a kind. But we did a lot at home, like we weren't on set. So we made a movie with our last dog, Bloodhound, that is going to be on Arrow's video streaming channel starting in June. So that was cool. And we did like a feature film with a bunch of friends of ours, like through
Yeah,
Zoom.
we did like an
and
experimental,
yeah.
feature film called The Transformations of the Doctors Jenkins.
So everybody filmed in their own homes and environments and over Zoom. So that will be hitting festivals this fall, probably summer, fall.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we were about like right before pandemic, we had mentioned we were in the middle of a feature. We had a second feature that's just about done as well. And then we were about to shoot, we mentioned Halfcock before, and that's with our friend Aaron Brokus. He's the writer, director of that. And we are about to shoot another film with him.
like 2
We
weeks.
were doing it the weekend.
The LA shut
LA shut down, so we canceled that shoot or postponed it. And so that's coming up next month. We're shooting that again. So it's kind of like we're finally seeing the end of it, really symbolized by the thing that we were about to do, now actually happening. So, but yeah, we did a bunch of stuff at home. We did a bunch of music recording.
Yeah, so much music.
A lot of people were doing collaborative projects, so that was kind of fun because it gave an excuse for like, okay, we can't get together with anyone, so we'll send you tracks and can you sing vocals on this and sort of stuff like that. So yeah, so we somehow, even though like Sophia said, it felt like we did nothing for
We
a
get
year,
done
we
still.
somehow were kind of busy the whole time. So
Yeah, for me, it was being a writer, it was trying to be creative when you've got about 5 or 6 crises all stacked on top of each other is tough. And I did a number of virtual conventions over the course of that time where I talking to other writers, and basically everybody said the same story. It's like, we are living through hell. How do you guys manage to get any writing done at all? So, but things are looking up right now, and I'm really looking forward. I've really thrown myself into this project because there is the learning curve is about a mile high, and I'm starting from zero, not zero, because I know how I feel like I know how to write. I feel like I know what goes into a film, and I got to work on a film set right before the pandemic started, where we were shooting a music video, and boy, were there some stories associated with that experience. So all right, so that kind of, let's segue from there into
I got some questions for you if you
all
want.
right, let's do those first.
Yeah. Gary wants to know who designed Sully.
Me, actually. I basically, I found a website where you could build your own puppet, and basically you pick the size, the color, the shape, hair, clothing, everything. So basically, Sully is my creation. He's
A glorious creation.
he'll have a costume for our movie. Right now, that he's wearing his normal clothes. I think, at least that's his normal. I think those are his normal clothes.
Yeah, it's a fake leather jacket, so it's kind of noisy.
I was going to ask you what the leather what kind of leather it is. Like what sort of creature does a demon make clothing from?
It's from out of this dimension, but it's closest to a prairie dog. Very soft.
That's a very big prairie dog.
Well, yeah, it took a couple.
Other question?
Yeah, and Charles, Anne wants to know, what roadblocks have you faced so far? Besides terrible crew and actors.
There have been a couple. The first that occurred was the auditioning process. I'm super happy with the actors that we found. The website that I used was pretty. It's sort of set up to be sort of a great. It's great in theory, but in practice, it's kind of a mess. So like a lot of the videos I got were really poor quality. Tons of technical issues when I was setting up when we were trying to do the auditions. So that was a huge headache for a couple, 3 days. And then there was the sort of learning curve of that website that went along with it for about a week beforehand. That was a big one. A lot of emotional energy there, because the last thing you want when your audition schedule starts and actors are supposed to be showing up is to have nothing work at all. No video, no audio, nobody can get coordinated. It was a mess. But we kind of got through it and found some awesome people. And the next major hurdle was probably the location search, because I had no idea how to do that. Fortunately, I was able to, through, networks of filmmakers who, people who know people. And I found a local location manager who was kind enough to answer some questions, I got him on the phone, and he was very gracious in helping me get some ideas for how to find spots. So those have been the two biggest ones. Any others?
Those are all the questions we
All
got
right,
for
that's
now.
all so far. All right, cool.
Unless you want to ask the actors what it was like to audition for.
All right.
I mean, I think probably actors are very used to video auditions, but Zoom auditions, I guess, are pretty new. I think
That is a fair question.
I actually, so you basically have three kinds of auditions at this point. You have live in-person auditions, you have Zoom auditions, and you have self-tapes. And I, unlike a lot of my friends, I prefer Zoom auditions. I like it because I get the benefit of like controlling my environment, but I also get the benefit of having that interaction. So that's just my own personal preference. So when I auditioned for Travis, I was like, yeah, okay, live, I can talk to the guy, but I'm in my own house, in my own little studio. So that was, I appreciated doing it that way.
I think I would agree with that. I think I've loved the self-tape process. Like, it's so much better for me to be able to control my environment, to be able to do a couple different takes. And if it's a Zoom audition rather than a self-tape, I love that pretty much every Zoom audition I've done, there's been some kind of technical issue on the side of the casting team. And so it kind of humanizes them for a second, so I can be like, haha, yeah, I get that. And it helps calm me down, because when you walk into a room and everyone's just sitting behind their desk, like looking at you with their pens, it's scary. And like, you kind of can't see them as people. You see them as like these people that, like, these gods that you have to impress, who are going to gift you this opportunity. But I love that, the Zoom process kind of humanizes them a little bit. And I think for this audition in particular, the scene I was given was just me going kind of high energy and like being terrified for my life. And it was just fun to just ham it up and go 100% for Travis, who I had just met in the moment. It was fun. I just told myself to have a good time. So I caffeinated and just went for it. It was fun.
For me, as a puppet, you don't make a lot of eye contact, so Zoom is actually a little bit preferable because everyone's on an even playing field. But yeah, just meeting Travis was great. He had answers to all of my weird questions. That was probably the first time he had thought of a lot of those things, but he knows his project and what he wants and what he's open to. So it was really enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. Just don't eat my soul later.
I might just nibble a little.
Any other questions, Mike?
There are no other questions.
All right, cool. All right.
I just want to. My husband says that he can't comment. So
Weird.
I don't.
Okay.
There may be people watching that can't comment. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. Let's see. Let me double check.
Does he have burning questions?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm looking at my Facebook feed to see if to see what I have missed while we've been talking. I'm getting a lot of it's like, hey, look at the camera. It's like, oh yeah.
Somebody else is saying they can comment too.
Yeah, we got another comment about not commenting. So do you want to set up a place where people can comment?
Let's see.
weird.
For anybody I know, you can feel free to comment. My latest post is about this, and I will monitor that for comments. I have a lot of monitors. We have 3 monitors here.
Okay,
So I can
cool.
put one set of questions on one side, one set on another.
All right. If you're at a Facebook feed and you cannot comment, I know the place where people are successfully doing it is go to my not my reader group, but to my personal page. Just look me up, Travis Heerman, on Facebook, and at the top of that is this video, and that's where people seem to be
A lot of
able to comment. It says it's weird. It says I've got 20 comments, but I can only see 4. Weird. Damn you, Mark Zuckerberg.
By the time we don't need this technology anymore, we'll be really good at it.
Right. It'll be something different, and we've moved on to the next thing. I did have something I wanted to ask each of you guys. Okay, so if you've been on any number of productions, whether that's theater or film, you have a crazy story. Something that is the story that you tell other people when you're telling crazy stories in somebody's backyard, that kind of thing. So what do you got?
We can start if people are thinking, if there's like a challenge, or I'm happy to let somebody else go first if you like.
No, go ahead.
Everybody looks scared. Do you want to talk about it? How family, okay, since this is probably a family friendly stream, one of our movies,
Okay.
I'll start it and Sophia can take over. But one of our movies involved chopping a body part off that then flew into the air and then was shot with an arrow. So that's fine. We did the first take, we started to do it, and we had one of our support people take the body part, not a real, it was a fake body part for anybody in law enforcement, throw it into the air, and the person shot the arrow at it. And that was great. The camera didn't really catch it. So we go to set up to do it again. And it turns out that the body part was nowhere to be found. It had gone into the woods, nowhere to be found. So we, regrouped and thought about it. We're like, okay, we can solve this, whatever. But one of the actors decided that he was determined to find the missing body part. And so he went wandering off into the woods to find the missing body part, as we all kind of did some other things and prepped. And I was standing there, adjusting the camera. The camera wasn't really on, we weren't filming, but I'm, making some adjustments. And I hear him scream from the woods. So my immediate thought is, oh no, he's like broken his ankle or something. So I start running toward him in the woods to help him. And I stop in my tracks as I see what looks like a cartoonish, like literally what you see in a cartoon where a person is surrounded by a swarm of insects. So he is running out of the woods and there is quite literally a swarm of hornets surrounding him. It felt like not a real thing. So
A whole bunch of us got stung.
so I rather than help him, I immediately turned around and ran away because there's nothing I
We
can
were
do.
like in like a residential neighborhood outside Boston, and like all of us are getting stung by bees, ripping our clothes off as we're like trying to run away, because once they get in you, like they don't leave.
Yeah. And these were like yellow jacket, like hornets, so they
Yeah,
sting
it's
multiple
bad.
times. Like they don't stop stinging you.
Yeah, we had to send some people home that needed to take Benadryl. Like we got lucky that it wasn't as bad.
Nothing
as it could have
serious,
been,
but-
but yeah,
So that was maybe the worst
it was bad.
of our people running down the street screaming, being chased by hornets while taking their clothes off.
The sight to see on a Sunday afternoon in a suburb.
We did not ever find the body part in the woods.
No, the police will find that someday.
So was it actually hit by the arrow and that's what carried it into the woods?
No,
It was
no,
just flung into the woods.
no. It was just thrown a little
Vigorously,
overzealously.
yeah.
Yeah. It ended up not being in the shot at all. Like the camera did not see the object fly into the woods. We shot, some insert stuff and solutions for it, so it's fine. About a new one, no problem. The movie's fine. The scene always gets a vigorous response when it happens because it's a body part that gets
That
chopped off.
only men, male
well,
assigned
no,
at birth might
yeah,
have.
okay.
That's where I thought that was going.
Yeah.
So good for the clarification. All right, Dylan.
I was doing a student film in college. It was one of my earlier student films, and I was in the scene where there was a note on a brick at the bottom of a pool, and they had me wearing this like sweater vest thing. And in the scene, I get pushed into the pool by a guy who's playing my cousin, and I got into the water, and they were like, okay, so we want you to go to the bottom of the pool and grab the brick. And so I let go of the edge of the pool, and the sweater vest had absorbed like 10,000 times its own weight. And as soon as I let go, I just sunk. Like I had no control. I just sunk to the bottom of the pool. And I was like, well, I'm down here. So I grabbed the brick, and then I tried to go up, and I couldn't get back up. And so I see everyone above me just like waving their arms. And so I dropped the brick, and like I reached my hand out, and somebody like pulled me up, but I almost drowned because that sweater had absorbed so much water. I've never ever felt a piece of clothing absorb so much water before.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel like on every film set there's always like some kind of near-death experience I have. Like I got pancreatitis one time, and it just it's fun. It's so fun.
Phyllis.
Oh, what?
You know, I've been sitting here racking my brains for some story. I've had nothing but good experiences on film sets, to be perfectly honest. The worst thing that happened was one time I was on this film set, and we were in this like trailer, and you know how the trailer is like up high, and usually there's like a couple of steps to get down. Well, they didn't have the steps there. So I went to like jump down, and I like jammed my knee really bad. I mean, this is like a boring story. And I sprained my knee, and you know, but life goes on, finished the scenes, headed home. It's still not quite right though. My knee.
Your knee?
Still not quite right.
Yeah, I have a bionic knee myself. It's really not quite right. Sully?
I was in a live production of Wizard of Oz once, and I was the Tin Man. And
you're a little small for
my
a Tin
big
Man.
scene comes where I'm frozen and saying "oil me," and there wasn't an oil can. It was not brought out. So the Scarecrow had the wise idea to just spit on me, and determined that the Scarecrow had magical oily spit. And I never realized how many times the Tin Man needed to be oiled until that show. And Dorothy and the Scarecrow and Lion just spat on me quite a bit. The show must go on.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you want us to spit on you during this production, we'll be happy to.
Oh, this is getting better and better.
I like that, huh?
Well, I kind of expect that you're the sort of guy who likes a certain amount of slime.
You know what? I'm not ashamed to enjoy something different. Open my horizons.
Awesome. So I mentioned a production I was on last year as a music video, and what ended up happening was that the production got derailed by a couple of hours because one of the dancers and one of the production assistants both discovered on set that they were sleeping with the same guy. And the dancer did not take it well. She was the lead, and she just took off, and it was so everybody, like the entire production, ground to a halt while the director like went looking for her. She left the set, didn't take her phone, wasn't answering her phone. He basically left and sort of wandered around the area outside until he found her a couple of hours later and brought her back in tears, and then she went home, and he called the understudy, who then had to come and get prepped. And so it ended up being, we were about 4 hours behind. We were supposed to be done about 10. We got done about 1 a.m. But it was still a fun experience. And worked with some really fun and interesting people. And that was a big learning experience for me. So yeah, hopefully all of our stories on this production are going to be good ones. Any other comments or questions, Mike? Anything coming over the transom?
Just a comment from Kim. I'm so glad you are doing what you love, Travis.
Oh, thank you, Kim. I've known Kim since about 1988. And that was back when we were both like -5 years old. So I thank you, Kim. I really appreciate it.
No other comments right now.
All right. Where the heck? All right. Let me see if I can check again. Let's see here. I've got this post.
We're here for your comments. Oh,
I was like, oh, they're really mad. Okay, it's a joke. Kim doesn't want you to out how old everybody is.
That's why I said we were -5.
Blanche does everything she can to like to steal the show. She's just like, I'm just gonna. We joke that she's like a hedonist. That she basically, you know, she wants to be fed grapes and just like lay there and be fanned and rubbed. But
I can see that. I like the position right now is clearly like just half a step away from, you know,
if grapes weren't poisonous for dogs, we would do it. But
all right. So one more plug for our
Only
Seed and
looked like
Spark
he'd
campaign.
chosen it.
Oh, say again.
I
Phyllis?
like grapes. I blinded myself by my own desk lamp.
Sully is a hedonist as well.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, he totally is. He would gladly be fed grapes by a bevy of succubi. So that's just the kind of guy he is.
Oh yeah.
All right, so one more plug for our Seed and Spark campaign. If you haven't supported us or followed our campaign, please do. Go to seedandspark.com and look for Demon for Hire. Tomorrow is the midpoint of our campaign, and we are just that much below the 60% mark. So I'm really pleased with how well it's going, but we're not there yet. And I will be dying by miniature heart attacks every single day until we cross that finish line. So please, folks, help out, help these wonderful people, help me make our movie. So I appreciate
Travis
it very
has
much.
generously offered to let me personally thank most of our donors if you choose the right level. So book now so I can be obligated to say thank you.
All right. So I don't know. Do you guys have anything you want to jump in and end with? I mean, we're at an hour now, and we could probably call it.
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody in person, especially you, Sully.
Oh, thanks, fellas. I'm blushing. You can't tell because I'm blue. Oh. But yeah, likewise, I look forward to meeting everyone and working, even though I'm not very kind to the two of you, spoiler alert. It will be fun to use that knife.
Can't wait.
Awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Excited.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And once again, seedandspark.com, Demon for Hire. Please come and help us. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And
Thank you.
this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Guys.